to Games Gone's continued coverage of
January 25th.
January
25th.
We'll talk about that in a moment because, yes, we're going to talk about the Sony press conference. What were your guys' thoughts?
The showcases, they are now calling it, which you pointed out, Kevy.
Yeah.
It's very religious to begin with.
I don't know, very. I am one of your hosts, Michael. That is Larry. And, of course, Kevin is joining us once again.
Yeah. Hey, we decided to keep you around for a little while longer.
So, what's your big takeaway from the Sony conference? What are you most excited about?
Well, most excited about, huh? See, I went into it. I was really, really excited about Ghosts of Tsushima. And I left kind of, It's beautiful. It looks fantastic. The art style's amazing. The color's great.
Get some MGS3 vibes on that guy.
Yeah, I'm a little nervous. Like, I feel like it looks a lot better than how it's going to play. That's my takeaway from this. And so I want to see, I feel like I need to see a little more. Like, what's going on? What's the gameplay hook other than the fighting and continuing the story? Like, what are we doing in between battles?
And we don't even know if it's open world at this point.
Are there items? How do I level up? What kind of, what's the inventory system like? All that stuff. I'm curious.
I mean, it definitely looked open world with the horse riding. But yeah.
True.
Or region, maybe locked.
It could be, region locked. I agree with you. It looks fantastic, but I wanted to see a more, like, depth. Like, what do you do?
Yeah, definitely.
Besides.
How about you, Mike?
So, overall, there's 3 highlights to this conference for me.
Mm-hmm.
That Last of Us 2 gameplay was...
Unbelievable. But you couldn't have opened it up any better.
Yeah, and I was a little worried when they started with the barn scene. It got better, I think, once they jumped into gameplay. And that gameplay, I've been thinking about what would they have to do to make Last of Us Part 2 better than the first. And this is the first time I was like, okay, it's more fluid. The amount of variety and just the little things in combat, I was like, ooh, this is good.
What I really enjoyed, there was a moment where when she was in the final kind of just that room, you had the 4 originally 3 enemies, and then a 4th one came in, and she was running and ducking, and she slid in between a really, really tight area.
Yes.
And the animation, how fluid that looked, I was like, oh,
it's on another level.
I will say this though, real quick. For as great as that tense scene was, there's something about the genuine smile you see from Ellie at the very end, right before they cut the scene.
Oh, and show the logo.
There was just something I was like, oh, like she was happy for a moment there, and that was really cool. And I want to see more about that. And I think this is going to be a game that does lots of flashbacks.
Yeah, it seems like we're going to be jumping around in time a lot.
Yeah, I thought the whole thing was fantastic. Like the motion capturing and the voice acting and the animations you see in the characters is insane. How good it is. That
Naughty Dog's on another
wow,
level.
Yeah, they really are. I think my favorite part of the entire gameplay demo, and one, I'm surprised they showed that much gameplay. That was interesting to me. And then when she's running away from an enemy, and she gets pushed, and she actually puts her hand back on the wall to keep herself up.
Gosh.
Yeah. Insane how crazy that is.
It's the little things.
I love that you pointed that out, because one of my other favorite moments was the momentum that happened when she went to pick up that glass bottle when she was running and threw it.
Oh my gosh!
It was like a continued motion. You felt like that was real life, and I actually felt because I'm left-handed. I felt my left hand like I wanted to actually throw. I almost just wanted to just grab something and chuck it, because I was just like, like it's so well done. That's what Naughty Dog is so great at, is the little details, the motion from movement, and how you kind of go from one thing to the next. I love all that.
And it's weird that we're getting excited about these little things. People are like, well, we already knew this game was coming. That is one of my letdowns about the Sony press conference in general. I told you I had 3 points, but we'll get there. That the little things and showing me that it has the potentiality of being better than the first one just because of the combat, that gets me excited. That gets me really excited.
Because we're all waiting for the story.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Dude, in the first one, I don't remember. They didn't have that little dodge rollback thing or like that jump back. I don't think they had that.
I don't think so, no.
Yeah, so I was like,
quicker. More moves, more movement. I think the gameplay will be more fluid. Obviously, we've seen that. But I will say, Kevin, this is one thing. I talked to Michael about this on the phone last night after the conference. They initially show when they first announced Last of Us 2, we were waiting. Joel finally shows up towards the end. we still talk about the idea of, is that her a figment? Is she talking to him? Is he actually alive? This was a purposeful plan on Naughty Dog's part to not have him in this gameplay to get us to continue talking about this.
And also mention old man in the trailer.
The old man mentioned. So that's why you wonder, if he is in it, does he stay in it?
That's just messing with us.
They're gonna kill him.
I hope not. But
it's just there's so many ways to go.
Or is he already dead? That's going to be the other thing.
Because that's a good point.
Going.
Sorry, that was a really good point. The dance scene. Oh no, I guess that would have to be. That couldn't be a future. Okay, so that was from the past. But we were looking at it from the past. So if they're saying old man in that scene, he could have died, and now the girl and Joel could have passed away.
See, I thought about it the other way around. She was thinking back that she's a terrible person type of thing, or she's not a threat, so she's envisioning.
Or maybe they're showing you how happy. Yeah, I don't know. It's possible. I kind of took it as that was the past, and they're flash forwarding to the future of what's happened. She's lost everything she loved again.
I'm still confused about the whole 2-week, 1-week conversation that was going on. I'm like, is that girl with the other guy, but she's kissing Ellie? I don't understand that at all. But who knows?
Can I really quickly say, too, the backlash on the internet that I saw that, like, she's a lesbian? We already knew that.
I know.
And on top of that, I can't believe, I mean, we knew this, but that people still exist like this, that is something that bugs them.
Yeah,
it's like,
whatever.
grow up.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So my other two highlights are Control. We saw Remedy's new game. Out of the blue. Looked awesome. I love the movement. It kind of reminds me of the movement and Indigo Prophecy. Obviously, you didn't control that, but it kind of reminds me of that style.
Oh, yeah, I can see that when you get your powers.
Yeah.
I can see that.
When I was watching you play that, and it looks awesome. Love the little tone they have going.
Well, it's like we said, too. When I first saw it, I thought it was Death Stranding for some reason, just because it was wonky with the weird bass kind of tones.
And the color palette.
Yeah. But then, I mean, it's just, I need to see more of it because, how much of that was scripted, how much of that was gameplay. I need to see more. They showed us no release date for that. It's, we don't know when it's coming out. But if that's what it's going to look like, that fluid, that smooth with that style and the creativity, looks like you can fly around. Love it all.
Kevin, what are your thoughts?
I agree, and I like that they don't have the whole TV aspect in this one, unlike
Quantic Dream.
Quantic
Break. I'm going to keep
Yeah,
calling it Quantic Dream.
I felt like that really slowed down the game. It was cool, but this is going to be a lot more fluid.
Yeah, I think they
hopefully.
distanced themselves from that. Was a smart choice, and now that it's not exclusive to just Xbox, I think that's also another smart choice.
Yeah, games need to not do that. There's been 2 times games have tried, and they both have failed.
Yeah, it wasn't. Or the time exclusive for Tomb Raider didn't work out very well for Microsoft number-wise. What was the other one you were thinking of?
Oh, no, I'm talking about the TV input.
Oh, the TV input, yes.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
Good job. But of course, what I alluded to in the beginning, January 25th, Resident Evil 2 is coming. And that trailer was probably one of the better trailers I've seen in a long time. My only nitpick is Claire's face looks different. She looks either really young or I think they just take a totally different facial animation. Everybody else looked exactly how I remember.
She definitely looks. I actually, for a second, was other than seeing her outfit, you kind of knew, but I kind of had to double take, and I was like, "Is that like?" They're definitely going in a different route. I will say this though: you talked about it. You kind of created this thing during our E3 predictions, the holy crap or
what was your make me scream
moments. That was the closest I got to this on the Sony. Other than just okay. So funny story, really quickly. I rewatched the Last of Us 2 gameplay trailer later that night. I just put my headphones in. And Nicole was sitting down watching her TV show next to me, and I didn't even realize it, but I was watching it, and all of a sudden she leans in and she's like, "Larry, are you okay?" And I'm like, "What?" And she's like, "You're breathing really heavily." I didn't know it.
Heavy breathing.
I was so intently just watching the gameplay and so tense, and so I think that gameplay, and then obviously just the RE2, and they didn't say remake, which I think is interesting.
Yeah, it's good that they did that. And
are they changing up some story elements then maybe?
Maybe a little bit. They'll probably just add stuff, of course, like kind of like the RE1 for GameCube. They added new enemies and stuff, which was awesome. It's weird that we knew this was coming, but we did not know how far along this was. How awesome it looks! It looks like it's going to be RE4 over the shoulder, so that's different. Not going to have the tank controls anymore. I'm so excited.
Can I say too? The one thing I think is kind of cool about this, I think this kind of showed that we could actually have a mouse simulator and actually have it be pretty good.
I love that Resident Evil 7 came out. And you're like, what are they showing? And now Resident Evil 2. But I don't know how I missed it. There's a PlayStation system. The mouse comes up to it. I was like,
I missed that. That should have been the cue right there.
Dead giveaway. But awesome.
What'd you think of it?
I just can't wait to see William.
Yeah, I know, right? They teased him at the very end, and I
Yep.
love that they showed Mr. X in there. I was like, this is so good. And running through some other stuff.
Can we really quick before you run through it? Can we talk about what were your thoughts of that transition from Last of Us 2 to the rest of the game?
Rest of the
show.
bad, very bad. They should not have done that at all.
Very, very bad.
The one way they would have done it better, Tim Geddes on Kinda Funny said this, was have 4 separate rooms. Each one looks like Spider-Man, Death Stranding, Ghost of Tsushima, and then you don't funnel everybody to it. You just cut to each room. So there's no delay. There's no this weird live over talking. You go from one live act to another live act. I like the live acts, but it was that transition was just really bad. It got off on a really bad start.
That's actually, there was a part of me that I was like, I thought that's what they were going to do. I thought each one of their 4 pillars that they were kind of showcasing was going to have their own room. And I was like, man, are we going to have this wait in between each one? Luckily, they didn't do that moving forward.
That would have been really bad. And the payoff of them being in like this church, and then that's what you see in the last trailer.
Cool. Yeah.
It's cool. It was not worth
No.
the transition. So that was a misstep on their part. And also, you get the sizzle reel, and then it's done. And there's people like, is it still going?
Yeah.
I
was watching that on Twitter. People were confused.
I think they're getting a little arrogant in their ways of how they're doing the press conferences, and it just didn't make as much sense as I thought it would.
Now, I will say that their saving grace is, they showed some great games.
That's my thing.
It's
still a good conference after that transition because you have gameplay, trailer. My one thing is they're talking about Sean Layden opened up with, this is going to be a deep dive in each game.
It really wasn't.
No, it was just a gameplay trailer for each game. That's not a deep dive.
That was definitely misleading on their part. Because, obviously, what we saw of Last of Us 2 is a lot. What we saw of Spider-Man was a lot.
Everything showed a lot. Maybe not Death Stranding. It's still confusing. But
we're going to talk to you in a second. We're going to talk about it in a
But
second.
a deep dive to me is you get a release date. You get, this is how many modes, like you would show the region map of Ghost of Tsushima. This is how many hours it will take to play. This is what you can do. It would be, for me, Assassin's Creed Odyssey is the deep dive they needed. That's a deep dive. You show me the skill trees. You show me.
That's kind of what I thought was going to happen. So that's why I'm a little.
Their messaging is just totally off this conference and leading up to this conference. So that in itself has to be a marker of the content is great. But it's weird.
And this is another thing we had talked about. Something important to keep in mind, too, is when I look at that conference of games that are coming out that I'm excited about for the PlayStation, we still don't know when Last of Us is coming out. That was the only one that's definitively going to be a PlayStation exclusive that I know I want right now. Outside of that, RE2, fantastic. It's going to be on Microsoft's console. So it's, Ghost of Tsushima,
didn't get a release date for that either, right?
I don't think we did.
We didn't get a release date for anything minus Spider-Man.
I thought we did.
Let me check.
Yeah. So even if that's the thing, Sony's been kind of weird about the release dates. They're like, we'll just share it when it's ready, which is a good mindset because then you don't have to worry about the delay and then getting that bad press or whatever. Good press, bad press, whatever. I think going into Death Stranding, this is the point that game needed a deep dive, and we didn't get it. It got even more confusing.
I have one thing to say about that game that I think, because now, I think you were right. This is the third year we've seen...
Our third iteration of seeing this.
That we've seen something about this game, and I still am confused about what it is.
Is it a walking simulator?
Yeah.
They showed a gun?
That was the joke. Here's the thing. I'm starting to wonder if they should get to the point now.
Can't find anything also.
Okay, so I'm going no release date then.
They're going to release. They should just eventually announce it. Next year they have another showing with it, and then it ends up having more confusing gameplay. We don't know what's going on, and then they have a release date so that the entire world has to go into this game being like, "What on earth am I playing?"
That would be actually.
It would be an interesting marketing technique because it's Kojima.
That would maybe work, but. Yeah, I don't know. This is the first time I'm a little worried about this game.
Yeah. Otherwise, why did you show it? There was no reason to.
We got some gameplay elements, and I like the color palette. It's a little bit brighter than I thought it was going to be. The facial animations, all that stuff look fantastic. Kojima's new engine, rock solid. But I don't know. It looks weird and intriguing still.
I think that's what the whole plan is. It's supposed to be like you get bits and pieces a lot, and it's just you're gonna be fine. The whole point is just to dive into the game and slowly figure things out. I think that's the whole point. I think it's gonna be like a mystery action or a mystery adventure.
Definitely something with time, because you
something
point
with time,
out.
that I think that's what the baby's for. It's like you end up being that thing, the strandings, I'm gonna call them. I don't know what they are.
The ghost looking things. Yeah.
That says I think when you get caught by it, you go up 30 years pass is what I heard. I could be wrong.
Something about.
And so maybe that baby is you in 30 years, but everything around you is messed up.
I love the idea that there's a time concept behind it, and putting Kojima behind it's going to be interesting. I'm so confused. I don't get it yet.
Yep. And then moving on, they did show there was a game in between from the Rick and Morty people, and then we had it closed out with Spider-Man. Really cool gameplay. Combat looks awesome. There's a lot of variety in that combat. And then they tease something about who is this at the end. We've talked about this, you and I, Larry, on phone conversations. Actually, I'm just not that excited for this game, and I don't know why. And I was hoping that I would see something that would make me more excited about it.
Because it's Spider-Man.
Yeah. Well, and here's the nutty.
But I like Spider-Man. That's the thing. And I've played one or two of their games, and I like it.
I'm super excited for people who are fans of this game.
Yeah.
Because you are getting a AAA game. It looks fantastic. I think it's because it's Spider-Man. I don't know what it is. It looks fantastic. There's nothing about it that doesn't look good.
Yeah, and I love that developer, too. It's Insomniac Games.
Interest,
and my thing is, when you watch a conference and there's content for you and there's usually content for not, this entire one, there was 5 games that were for me. Death Stranding, Ghost of Tsushima, Last of Us, Control now, and then RE2. So that breadth of content they showed, awesome.
And Neo 2 was announced too.
Oh yeah, Neo 2. I forgot about that one.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Good call.
Another exclusive. Yep. So that's a good grab from them. Didn't show much, but that's cool. That's coming. Another samurai game.
Yeah. What is with that?
What's going on?
Everything goes in ebbs and flows. Apparently, I don't know what's going on.
We were joking about that. The pirate thing right now. Where'd that come from?
There's a lot of that too. Who knows?
It's nuts.
And the another odd thing about the Sony conference, you had dreams in there and intermissions, but no payoff.
That's what I wanted. Yeah, I definitely wanted to bring that up. I'm completely confused at what happened there because I thought it was going to be one of those moments where it's like, oh yeah, and by the way, we're out now. Come play us, or something like that.
Or everything you saw in the transmissions, you can create.
Mm-hmm.
Nope, nothing.
Which
just left on the dust.
It is though. That's the thing. Like I think there's just like an Easter egg, but they're still not announcing, which is really stupid.
Yeah, that's my thing. I don't know what they're doing.
They're gonna lose their window to announce this game here. I feel like at some point, so they need to get on.
And I think this game had coverage on like a Game Informer type thing with like games like Days Gone did, and I remember hearing that, but I haven't seen anything. Yeah, that's one game that you need to market. That should have been one of their deep dives, to be honest.
To me, I felt like
hard game to show.
What they should have done though is they should have taken out Death Stranding. And again, I know people are really curious, and if you removed it, maybe that gets people upset. But I feel like maybe Days Gone, or again, like you said, Dreams is a hard game to market. I felt like one of those two should have been in its place, and you should have done a deeper dive to sell people, because those are the games that, well, not Dreams, but Days Gone's coming out.
Yeah, but they had that super big coverage from Game Informer. I think they were just trying to highlight something else.
They didn't do it, yeah.
Trying a different market for that. Well, yeah, keep going.
Okay, real quick, I just want to say with Death Stranding, I know you talked about how good a graphics it has and stuff like that. I kind of felt like, other than like it has the Metal Gear Solid feel to it a little bit, there's some of the climbing, like there was something off about it, and which makes me think it's still a long way from.
Oh, it's for sure a really long way.
It was
that game's got to come out next year.
I mean,
it's not going.
I don't know if it's going to. I don't disagree with you. You can't show a game like this for 3 years in a row now. Next year being 4, and
this would be the.
Was it 2?
Yeah, we had our first reveal last year.
No, it was the year before that.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, Kojima announced his new production.
Oh, you're talking about.
Stranding.
I thought you're talking about Ghost of Tsushima.
No. Sorry, no.
Did you transition? Did you You said Ghost.
He
for
said
sure.
Death Stranding.
That's it.
Whatever. All right. Just keep going then.
But no, that was my thing. It was just. It feels very rough around the edges. Ghost of Tsushima, I completely agree with you, has to come out next year.
Oh yeah, Death Stranding's not coming out for. I want to say 2020.
That's where we were confused. We were like, wait, what?
I assume Death Stranding will be a multi-release on this generation and next generation.
Yeah, it definitely. And I think this was the interesting about this conference as a whole. Everybody, not just Sony. You heard more and more about next generation.
Yeah,
We're
little
getting
snippets.
Very,
Yeah.
very, very close. But yeah, okay. So real quick, I just want to know if you take out Last of Us because we all like it. Favorite game that you saw at the Sony conference?
RE2.
I'm going Death Stranding.
Really?
Awesome.
Because I didn't see Control at the actual conference. So
Oh, yeah, it's okay.
Well,
You
we
saw the
did-
trailer now.
We just had you watch it. I would say most excited RE2. I think the most curious would be Control for
Cool.
me.
That's a good stance. We'll rank this against Microsoft once we do all of them in a little bit. So stay tuned. We Are Games Gone. I don't know if we ever got that. Do you have a counterpoint, Larry?
No, I just want to say real quick, like we want to hear from you. Please let us know what your favorite just game was. Did you like the show? Did you not like it?
RE2, January
Let us know over on Facebook.
2019.
Games Gone. That would be great.
oh, we didn't mention From Software's other.
Oh, the VR game that was announced. That was
after the
It was really that was
Another
thing.
stupid move. Who knows? Sony, fix it next year.
It's Decine.
Decima?
Just fix it next year. We'll talk to
Okay.
you later.